Alright, and continuing on so that we can get to the window regulator, we've also got to take the speakers out. I've got the Bose speakers, but any of the cars would be the same. There are 4 7mm bolts that hold that in. And there's an electrical connector here as well. There we go. And the speaker comes out. Okay, and then this opening is where the window regulator will come out. So I have to peel back this goopy material. See if we can get it off without destroying it. Alright, well, after 17 years, this stuff is pretty fragile. So, don't know if I'll be able to reuse that. Maybe I'll come up with something else to cover this. It's mainly just a vapor barrier, trying to keep moisture outside of the inside of the door so that it doesn't get on the window regulator and your electronics. Okay, so to get to the 2 bolts that hold the glass to the tracks on the window regulator, you got to peel back the kind of rubber covering stuff here, there, and there. The other thing that you have to remove is this little rubber plug. It's if you follow this track of the window regulator down, you see it mounts to the bottom of the door panel. Right below that, you'll feel this little rubber plug. And there's nothing holding it in. You just kind of peel it back, and it will slide out. So that's pretty easy. So then these 2 bolts are 13mm. Alright, and then the glass should lift up. It may have a little resistance to it. Let's see. Okay, so we got the glass out. So now we just got the 4 mounting points. The other one's on the bottom. So these are a 10mm. Alright, and then we've also got the 3 bolts, or excuse me, 3 nuts that hold the motor in place. And then the cables are hooked in. There's just a little plastic clip here. I'll get a pair of needle nose pliers and we'll just pinch that in and push it through. I think we should be loose. There's also an electrical connection, obviously, on the window motor. This guy. And it's simple. You just press in from the side and it disconnects. So there's the old window motor. So let's move on to getting the new one in. Okay, we've got the new window regulator, so we're ready to go back in with that. Like I said, I went with another GM unit. Some of the aftermarket ones reportedly don't last as long. I don't know. I decided I'd try the GM one. Okay. It would be a good idea also at this point to test um, the window regulator, plug it in, and run it up and down, make sure it works. Um, Occasionally you could get a bad one, could be a dead motor or something like that. Before you put everything back together, just make sure that part works. And you may also have to adjust, you know, we had the window all the way up, but the new regulator may not be positioned like that, so you can see the where it grips the glass is actually down. So we'll have to run that back up when we're ready to put the glass in. Okay, so once you've got the window regulator mounted in place, make sure you reattach the electrical connection inside the door for the window motor. Then you can set the glass back in, and you don't have to have the regulator all the way up. It can be down further. You just gotta be careful as you lower the glass in. And if you just took the glass out and put it back in, you should already be able to see where these mounting tabs were. Right, this is like a clamp, so that bolt goes through it and tightens the two sides together, and there are kind of rubber pads in there that grip the glass. You'll probably be able to see where that was when you took it out, unless you're like me and you clean the glass really well, because I took the window tint off and it's not completely obvious where the glass was. So I've got it lined up where I think it needs to be, but before I put the door panel back on, I'll run the window up and down and make sure you know, we're not too far back or too far forward, just to make sure that's adjusted correctly. But we will go ahead and tighten these. These should be snug, but you don't have to go crazy. You certainly don't want to crank the glass by crushing it too much either. Yeah, it shouldn't be able to lift it out, but otherwise it's just moving the glass up and down, so it's not like it's got to be 100 foot-pounds.